Right, we've got the bent frame back. That line now goes, basically you want it to sit through the middle of that, not too worried about those. You've got the headstock within a millimetre, which is pretty amazing. So that all lines through nicely now. This is straight, that one's straight. He's taking the bow out of that, so money well spent. So we'll get the forks apart because they've got to go to the blasters as well, which are very basic. There isn't a lot to it, but just to show you how they come apart really. So that's your steering damper. You have to take that out. That drops down through the middle of the forks there. And a lot of these, that spring fits over there, that spring goes in there. That normally is either seized up solid, missing, stuck to that, but luckily it's come apart. It's a very, you have to get them from America, you can't get them here I don't think. So it's a special spring that goes in there, just makes the steering damper, because 9 times out of 10 those steering dampers on the top are seized up, they don't work. So yeah, it's nice to get that out. So basically how the forks work, that's your headstock. So your bearings go on there down through the cups on the top of the frame. Yeah. It pivots from there. That's your pivot there, and that's your spring-loaded system there. And that basically is it. There's nothing technical about it. So we undo those. Basically, you've got 8 springs in. 4 inners, 4 outers. Okay, now they're held in there under compression. So what you have to do, you've got to get your bottom end out. What we have to do sometimes is put just a ratchet strap on those and hold it up while you get these out.
Oh, okay, yeah.
All of these should have lock tab washers on them. Yeah, so there's nothing's on them. Everything's missing on the lock tab side of it, so we'll have to order all of those.
Yeah.
And get those sorted out. Let's get the rockers out, see what they're like. Solid, that's what they're like. Let's get a little hammer, give that a little tappy poos. Right, they're pretty good. Normally the bushes are worn out. Can you change the bushes in these? Normally they're really worn out, but they're pretty good. So. Ka-chang. Yeah, see, I should have those flats on like that, and your lock tab washers go on the flat, and they fit round the base of that, and you just lock them off to stop, because obviously you do not want your front forks falling apart.
Yeah.
Right, that's them. They look fairly straight, which is good. Right, so that's that bit. That can go to the blasters. They have been bent before and repaired, but quite common on these. On some of the Indians and the early forks, there's an actual seam down here, and they fill up with water and just rot the forks out.
Oh goodness.
Yeah. Right, so let's get the rest of the rockers out. Those should be 2 cups that come out. Yeah. The grease cups. Okay. We've got that one there. What these are, that hang on, I'll just show you. Just wait. Right, that outer bolt doesn't do anything apart from hold the mudguard on, and if you've got your ammo box or your gun rack, they all fit onto that. So that's why it's got that long thread on it.
Okay.
So they put a spacer in, you see. And I can't remember now, WLA and WLC ones are different. You can see on here, that rocker's genuine, original WLA, WLC. That one has had that welded on the end of it for some reason. The hole's the right size, so I don't know why they've done that, but we'll examine that when we put it back together. But you can get them with bigger holes in there for the big twin forks, I think. Now we've got to see if we can hold these, which can be a right pain in the arse. That's gone, that's good. Right. Right. That's one major problem there, look. So these are possibly off a big twin. I'm not sure. But that's not the end of the world. I can machine up a little bush to go in there, because if you think everything's pivoting off of that,
yeah,
doesn't matter how tight you do that, you're still getting that.
Yeah.
The actual bushings, they're pretty good. There's normally those that get smashed out, but they're pretty good. So we know we've got to do something with that. Let's have a look at this one. Yeah. Right, that one's the same. Look. So they've got to be. You can weld them up and re-drill them, but I don't like doing that, because you can't guarantee you're drilling in exactly the same place every time, so you could end up with your front wheel being off skew.
Yeah.
So it's better to machine up just 2 little spacers. That's all it needs. Just to take up the distance on those. If you don't do it, the forks will be all over the place. Again, bushing's good. Yeah. You can probably buy new rockers, but if the bushes and the rockers are okay, then for the sake of 10 minutes on the lathe, just spin up a couple of just sleeves. They go over there, take up the diameter of that to the diameter of that.
As you're taking these things to pieces, how do you remember all the things you notice as you do it?
It's in my head. And you'll notice when you put it back together, like I say, it's 10 minutes on the lathe, yeah. So yeah.
There's lots of things you notice when you're taking these bikes to pieces. You go, oh, there's that we need to do, there's that we need to do.
Yeah, I generally tend to remember it all, but what I'll do when I've got to make a list out,
yeah,
I'll just go through it all again, bit by bit, and then we know exactly where we're at. I mean, I've written a load down as I was taking it apart, so.
Yeah.
And also I noticed on the front wheel, that holds your front brake. Well, it doesn't, it holds the damper for the front brake, yeah? And all of that's chewed up on the front wheel, so we've got to get all new parts for that. Which isn't the end of the world, but it's got to be done. Right, so that's all the parts. He doesn't want, they just need a clean up, he just wants to put it all back together so it looks, you know, like a like you said, a 70-year-old used motorbike.
Yeah.
So they're just a clean up, sort out those spacings, which is nothing, like say 10 minutes on the lathe if that. Don't know how tight that is on there. Not. The bottom bearing race. That centralises everything. So that's that. That will let that, instead of trying to wind it hard down onto the bottom when you do it up, yeah, that fits inside that concave. It lets it do that. See it moving. So that basically, if you've got anything out of line slightly, that just allows your movement. So as you tighten your ball bearings down, it just finds its nice place.
Yeah.
Wrong bolts, so we'll have to get those new. So that can all go to the blasters now. I'll get that down there this afternoon. Get our back wheel out. Get our list together and then ready to rock and roll.